This is Road to the Green Hearts Club vlog number 5. As you can see, I just came out the shower washing my hair, but I figured I'd knock this out real quick. I am realizing how many tracks that I had planned to create, and I'm assessing whether it makes sense or not. So essentially, I wasn't writing for a set amount of, tracks, but I'm not one of those people that like to put a long album. I just don't. I can't really I'm not a fan of a really long album unless it's intentional and it makes sense. But even then I have to break it up into chunks. So if I'm not a fan of that, I'm not going to do it myself. You feel me? But at the same time, you got to do everything with intention. So if it's intentional and it works, it works. But I was looking at my whiteboard full of tracks, and I'm like, this like 16, 17 tracks right here. So I'm like, maybe I should cut it down and do like a deluxe release. I'm thinking about that. But I'm also like, it's like making a movie almost. It's like, is this scene essential to forwarding the story? That's what I'm concerned about. Like, is this song essential to forwarding the story? The thing is about music is like, music is a little different because sometimes things can exist without the context or outside of the context, outside of the kind of like timeline of the album. People do it all the time, and sometimes it works. But for my purposes, I want it to exist within the story, at least for this first album. So I'm back and forth between that, and I'm just kind of like in a like, F it, let me just do what I do, see what happens. Because let me tell you, I've been in such a depressive episode lately. I thank God that I washed my hair. Let's just put it that way. It's been rough. For those of you that don't know me, I have bipolar 2 disorder. I'm very transparent about that type of stuff because someone has to be, and we have to just get real about our mental health. And, when you know why a thing is a thing and you tell the truth about it, you take away its power. So that's why I talk about that. And sometimes it comes across in my music. Sometimes it affects the way that I make music. Sometimes a lot of ADHD and bipolar symptoms overlap a little bit. Sometimes I can't sit and really work like how I want to work. And then sometimes I can. And it's just been rough. I've just been dealing with a lot of insecurities, and I knew when I started making this album I was going to be fighting through a lot that I had built up over the years, but I didn't even imagine this. So I'm just like working through a lot of like painful thoughts, a lot of thoughts that I'd rather not have. All these types of things, and I'm trying to make sure that it all has a purpose and that it's put in the music, and sometimes it doesn't come out, and sometimes it's just a lot. I'm giving you word salads right now, but it's a lot. And I'm just hoping that it hits the way I want it to hit. And I'm also trying to be realistic with myself, because I'm thinking about that one Kanye clip again, where it was like, listen, if it's not the first album, it's the second. If it's not the second, it's the third, and so on and so on. And I'm trying to be okay with that reality. I'm trying to be okay with this reality here. But it's still like I've been working so hard, and then I just fall like 10 steps back. And I'm like, I need something gotta break. At this point, something has to break, and this joint needs to be fabulous, and it needs to be something I'm excited about. And that's the other thing. I'm realizing that even when I struggle with music and I'm like, I'm practicing certain instruments and it's not coming together, I'm hopeful, I'm joyful. That's my happy spot. I could still push through and be like, listen, it's not right now, but I know if I keep working, it's going to come. Okay? But when you mix that in with the stuff that I'm dealing with outside of music, it becomes the most nastiest cocktail that you've ever had in your life, girl. I mean, but yeah, that's where we at right now. I feel like I'm at the finish line, but I'm probably just halfway. It still feels like, when you get your hair braided and the braided zooms through most of your head in an hour, and then like there's this one piece that ends up getting split into like 50 million pieces, and that takes 10 million years. We're gonna get it together though.